Hi, my name is Haley Weber. Have you ever had something that was extremely important to your heritage? Perhaps like a family heirloom that's passed through generations, representing every grain of what you were and what you are. Something as simple as maybe a quilt. I chose to do my presentation on Everyday Use by Alice Walker. Alice Walker's Everyday Use was based on the trials of family and how one part of the family wanted to represent their heritage and frame it as if it's part of their history, and the other part of the family wanted to use their heritage and continue to live their heritage as if it was something that still was part of them today. My slides are slow. The time of African American heritage addresses itself to the dilemma of African Americans who, in striving to escape prejudice and poverty, risk a terrible deraciation, a sundering from all that is sustained and defined them. African Americans were going through quite a time during the period in which Alice Walker wrote her novel Everyday Use. They were torn between the fact of being and living their heritage and becoming part of the new America and part of the white heritage and leaving behind their African American ways. This sometimes led to poverty, whether or not they choose to continue with the flow of things in the new world, or if they continue to live their old heritage and hunt and do things that they were originally thought to do. Sewing, cooking, and doing everything that women did back then, that men was not considered a man's job, and men doing things that were considered men's jobs back then. People were torn between recognizing their heritage as a thing of the past or recognizing their heritage as a thing that was currently in their life and living it day to day. They were once again torn between going back to their roots and back where they came from and living those ways, or if they were to continue and live in the ways that was new and coming. Alice Walker represented a lot of this. It was the opposite. Dee was the opposite of Maggie and Mama. Maggie and Mama wanted to continue to live their heritage, and Dee wanted to represent it as a thing of the past that she didn't forget, but however she wanted to move on from. Never change where someone comes from. Readers praise the simplicity of Maggie and Mama, along with their allegiance to their Pacific family identity and folk heritage, as well as their refusal to change at a whim of an outside world that doesn't really have much to do with them. In this passage we see that, it represents how Maggie and Mama believed that the outside world and the world that America was becoming was not part of them, and that they continued to live their heritage as if that is where they came from, that is who they were, and they did not want to move on. Dee wanted to move on, but also wanted to keep her heritage. And a lot of that came with making her a fake person. She changed her name from what it really was, and she wanted to frame her heritage. That really is not representing who she was and what she was as a person, because our heritage develops all of us in a way. Here's my works cited. I got a lot of my information from the Heritage and Decoration in Walker's Everyday Use, Studies in Short Fiction, which was an online source by Literary Reference Center, which was one of our databases at LSCC. I also got some of my information from Fight versus Flight, which is a reevaluation of Dee in the Alice Walker's Everyday Use. I also got some of my information from our original story, which was in our textbook, The Norton Anthology of American Literature, and that was the actual story, Everyday Use, and how it related to heritage, Dee, and the quilt that Maggie was given from Mama to represent her heritage. That concludes my demonstration. Thank you for listening.